the Monroe Hotel, a name that once evoked images of grandeur and opulence. Once it was a beacon of luxury, a shining example of architectural brilliance and human ambition. Its grand ballroom pulsed with life, hosting the most lavish parties and events. The chandeliers sparkled like 1,000 stars, casting a warm, inviting glow over the elegantly dressed guests. Laughter echoed through its elegant halls, a symphony of joy and celebration that seemed like it would never end. The elite flocked to its opulent suites, each room a masterpiece of design and comfort. Vintage furniture, plush carpets, and intricate details spoke of a time when no expense was spared. They craved its refined air, its promise of extravagance. The lobby, with its marble floors and grand staircase, was a sight to behold, a testament to the hotel's commitment to luxury. But time, a relentless sculptor, had reshaped the Monroe. The years had not been kind, and the once proud structure began to show signs of wear and neglect. Years had passed, each one etching decay into the hotel's facade. The paint, once vibrant and fresh, now peeled away, revealing the weathered wood and stone beneath. The once vibrant paint peeled, revealing the skeletal frame beneath. The structure that had once stood as a symbol of strength and beauty now looked fragile and worn. Windows, once sparkling, now stood as vacant eyes. They no longer reflected the bustling activity within, but instead stared blankly at the world outside. They stared out blankly at the world as if mourning the loss of the vibrant life they once contained. The Monroe had become a ghost of its former glory, forgotten, neglected. The hallways, once filled with the sounds of footsteps and conversation, now echoed with silence. Now the only occupants were shadows. They moved silently through the empty rooms, a haunting reminder of what once was. They danced with dust motes in the pale moonlight that pierced the boarded-up windows. The light, though faint, revealed the layers of dust that had settled over everything, a testament to the passage of time. The air hung heavy with the scent of damp wood and decay. It was a smell that spoke of neglect, of a place that had been left to the elements. It was a scent of forgotten memories, of a grandeur long lost. Each room, each piece of furniture seemed to hold a story, a memory of a time when the Monroe was the epitome of luxury. The Monroe Hotel, once a testament to human ambition, now stood as a haunting reminder of time's inexorable passage. It was a place where the past and present coexisted, where the echoes of laughter and music could still be heard if one listened closely enough. The Monroe was more than just a building. It was a symbol of the fleeting nature of time and the inevitable decay that comes with it. As the sun set and the shadows grew longer, the hotel seemed to come alive, whispering its stories to those who cared to listen. It was a place of beauty and sadness, a monument to a bygone era that would never return. The Monroe Hotel, in its silence and decay, continued to tell its story, a story of opulence and ruin, of dreams and reality, of time and its relentless march forward.
Ghosts? Haunted hotels? Sarah scoffed at the very idea. To her, these were nothing more than figments of overactive imaginations, stories spun to entertain or frighten. She dismissed them as childish fantasies, relics of a time when people didn't understand the world around them. She dismissed them as childish fantasies. Sarah was a woman of science, a firm believer in logic and reason. She needed concrete evidence, something tangible that she could see, touch, and measure. Give her logic, reason, scientific proof. That's what she believed in. She had spent years studying the natural world, understanding its laws and principles. The idea of ghosts and haunted places seemed laughable to her. That's what she believed in. She had no time for the supernatural, for things that couldn't be explained by science. Her world was one of facts and figures, of experiments and results.
He thrived on the thrill of the unknown. Alex, on the other hand, was her complete opposite. He was fascinated by the mysteries of the world, the things that couldn't be easily explained. The paranormal was his playground. He loved the idea that there were things out there that defied explanation, that challenged the very fabric of reality. He chased the shadows that Sarah shunned. While Sarah sought the light of knowledge, Alex reveled in the darkness of the unknown. He was always on the lookout for the next big thrill, the next unexplained phenomenon. Alex lived for the adrenaline rush of fear. He loved the feeling of his heart pounding in his chest, the rush of blood in his veins. It made him feel alive, more connected to the world around him. He sought it out in every creaking door and every abandoned building. He was always dragging Sarah along on his adventures, much to her chagrin. He dragged Sarah into these adventures, much to her chagrin. She would protest, roll her eyes, and try to reason with him, but in the end, she always went along. "Come on, Sarah," he'd say, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "Where's your sense of adventure?" He would tease her, trying to coax her into embracing the unknown. "Where's your sense of adventure?" he would ask, knowing full well that she had none when it came to the supernatural.
Sarah would roll her eyes, but she always followed. Despite her skepticism, there was something about Alex's enthusiasm that was infectious. She couldn't help but be drawn into his world, even if she didn't fully believe in it. Deep down beneath her skeptical exterior, there was a flicker of curiosity. She would never admit it to Alex, but there was a part of her that was intrigued by the unknown. A tiny part of her hoped that Alex was right, that there was more to the world than what met the eye. She wanted to believe that there was magic in the world, that there were things that couldn't be explained by science, that there was more to the world than what met the eye. And so she followed Alex into the darkness, hoping to find a glimmer of light, a hint of the unknown that would make her believe. The storm hit without warning. It was as if nature had decided to unleash its fury all at once, catching everyone off guard. One minute the sky was clear, a serene blue expanse stretching endlessly. The next it was a canvas of angry grey clouds swirling and churning with a menacing intensity. Rain lashed down in torrents, transforming the world into a blurred, indistinguishable mess. The downpour was relentless, each drop a tiny hammer pounding the earth. Sarah and Alex, on one of their impromptu road trips, found themselves battling the elements. They had set out for a weekend of adventure, but now they were fighting to stay on the road. Their car, a trusty but aging sedan, struggled against the onslaught. The windshield wipers worked furiously, but it was a losing battle against the sheets of rain.
"We need to find shelter!" Sarah shouted, her voice barely audible over the howling wind. Her words were almost snatched away by the storm, but Alex heard her desperation.
The headlights flashed across a weather-beaten sign, barely visible through the deluge. It was a fleeting glimpse, but enough to catch their attention. Monroe Hotel, it read, the letters barely clinging to the rotting wood. The sign looked like it had seen better days, much like the building it advertised. It seemed like fate, a beacon in the storm. The hotel stood there, a silent sentinel offering a promise of refuge.
"Well," Alex said, a mischievous glint in his eye, "let's see if they have a vacancy." His attempt at humor was a thin veil over his own anxiety.
Despite Sarah's reservations, the allure of a dry roof and a break from the storm was too strong to resist. They had no other options, and the storm showed no signs of letting up. They pulled into the overgrown driveway, the silence that greeted them even more unsettling than the raging storm they left behind. The hotel loomed ahead, its dark windows like empty eyes watching their every move. The air was thick with an eerie stillness, a stark contrast to the chaos outside. As they approached the entrance, the wind howled through the broken windows, creating an unsettling symphony of ghostly whispers. The door creaked open with a reluctant groan, revealing a dimly lit lobby that seemed frozen in time. Dust motes danced in the weak light, and the air was heavy with the scent of decay. Sarah and Alex exchanged a glance, their earlier bravado replaced by a shared sense of unease. The storm outside was a force of nature, but inside the Monroe Hotel, it felt like they had stepped into another world entirely. A world where time had stopped and the past lingered like a shadow. They moved cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the empty halls. Each creak of the floorboards, each rustle of the wind seemed amplified in the oppressive silence. The hotel was a labyrinth of forgotten memories, each room a snapshot of a bygone era. Faded wallpaper, broken furniture, and the occasional personal item left behind told stories of the lives that once filled these rooms. As they explored, the storm outside continued its relentless assault, but inside, the Monroe Hotel held its own secrets. Sarah and Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone, that the hotel itself was watching, waiting. The sanctuary they had sought was a place of mystery, a refuge with its own hidden dangers. And as the night wore on, they would come to realize that the storm outside was not the only force they had to contend with.